So last episode we talked about the trial, and there's some really good applications of the trial and good opportunities to use it and grow and develop yourself as a person. One of the things that I want to focus on here is there is a reality that we don't often pay much attention to, and it has to do with the application of the trial, and that is you don't get to choose uh, in this life when other people need you. It is um, it is a reality that almost always the external world and the people in it are going to be operating on a timeline that you don't necessarily have access to. You can't see. You're only going to know when that need materializes, and so the judicious application of care now starts to be even more nuanced. And so when somebody comes to you and says, listen, I'm having this problem or this challenge with the situation, or I've been diagnosed with this disease, or, somebody in my life is abusing me or what have you, those, those issues are going to be really present on their timeline. But now that they've been made apparent on yours, you have the decision ahead of you to how to respond. Um, you don't often, and it's not productive to delay response. You can't just like wait it out. There are some things that time takes care of, like the grieving process and things like that. But when somebody comes to you in a moment of need, the best response is almost never, "I'll get back to you." So if that's the case and you can't control it, then what you're really going to need to do is become a master of how you respond. And so that judicious response, that judicious application of care and conscientiousness is going to become something you have to master and develop your skills to execute. So, um, for example, there may be ways that you can care or demonstrate that care that maybe have a limited time involvement. Maybe they are things like, "Hey, listen, I heard you're sick. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not going to be able to show up at your house to take care of you necessarily, but what I can do is, I can cover your Uber Eats bill or whatever for the next month." Or maybe I can work with these other solution providers to help make sure that you're getting the care and concern that you need, even though I may not be able to directly intervene specifically personally at every single instance. um, there are ways to express care in any given situation that respect both parties, the person needing care and the person providing that care in whatever context that might be. In some cases, the care we provide is the stubborn, brotherly, hey, do you need me to harass you until you get this done kind of care. Whatever the solution might be, it really it doesn't matter. It's just important that you remember that there is that delicate balance between the person in need and yourself. And the other thing that's also important in this context is because you don't get to control the timeline in of someone's need, you really have to become an expert at triage. And this is something that a lot of folks kind of struggle with because, and I've struggled with it in the past, certainly, because we're in our society wired to be useful. We're wired to be helpful. And so, as a helpful individual, when somebody needs help, it's pretty common to want to spring into action. Um, there's more that this kind of fleshes out into, and I want to make sure that we give that some thought in the next episode. And that is what when you're on the other side of that conversation, when you are in need, how do you direct care from others? So we'll talk about that in our next episode.